Welcome back, everybody. It's good to see you all again. I hope everybody again is healthy and staying safe. And I'm hoping that soon that we're going to have some solution to this. I know all of our scientists and doctors are working very, very hard to get us all back to our activities of daily living. Speaking of that, when we all get back to doing our thing, a lot of people are going to rush back to exercise, which is a great thing, but we don't want to overdo it. And they're also going to rush back to their activities of daily living, and they're also going to put their feet back in the types of shoes that they were wearing before, and those shoes might not be the proper shoes for their feet. So as promised, what I'm going to do is just take about 4 or 5 minutes to talk about shoes, proper footwear, why it's important, and what misconceptions there are about shoes, so that if we end up having to make an orthotic for you, that you'll have your orthotic, your shoe, and everything will be matched properly to your feet. So let's talk a little bit about footwear. So I always ask people, what do you think is a good shoe? And people always say, well, it's got to be cushy, it's got to be soft, and it's got to give support. Well, the last one is good. The first two, maybe not. So let me go through the attributes of a good shoe, whether it's a running shoe, athletic shoe, and this is a Brooks shoe, which I love, by the way. I don't sell them, so there's no shameless self-promotion here. And this is one of my shoes, but it's just a really fabulous shoe, and they come in all different styles and shapes for different feet. Or a casual shoe, and I love these shoes, and it's a slip-on type of shoe with what we call a goring material, which makes it a little more stretchy. In most cases, this type of shoe, even with goring material, is not a great shoe for a very high arch because it would push up against the top. And then, of course, a dress shoe. So let's just talk about the characteristics real quickly of a good shoe, whether it's a sneaker, a casual shoe, or of course a dress shoe. So here are the answers to the questions, and I'm also going to tell you when it's time for a new pair of shoes. So here are the things that comprise a great shoe. And this is a Brooks, and I picked this one because it's not a Nike, nothing against Nike, it's not an Adidas. These are actually high performance shoes that can be purchased at a very reasonable price and will support your feet properly. So here are the elements of the shoe that I think are important. And first of all, we look at the rear foot. And the shoe must have what we call a firm heel counter. The heel counter is the area of the shoe that starts about here and wraps right around to about there. And it's this entire area right here. We want that to be firm. We do not want the heel to move much, especially in flat-footed people. Remember when I showed you how the heel was moving and the knee was internally rotating? So we want a firm heel counter in 90% of the cases. We also want a shoe that we can't twist and turn much. If I start here in the midsole, you can see I cannot twist. And I urge you to take your shoe and try to twist and turn your shoe, and you'll see that in most cases, in the more advertised types of shoes, you're going to see that they do twist and turn. Well, it's kind of like a mattress for a bed. Some people do like a lumpy, soft mattress, but a more firm mattress is in most cases better indicated for a healthy back while you're sleeping. So we do want a firm midsole. Better shoes will have what's called a shank, which will start about here, and it'll run to about there. You can't see it. It's in the middle of the shoe, and it provides for a very firm midsole. Finally, we want, fit is a very big problem. We want the widest part of the foot in the widest part of the shoe. So I urge people not to get caught up in a number or a size, because some people have short arches and long toes, and some people have short toes and long arches. Regardless, we want the crease of the shoe. You can see this is my shoe, which is perfectly fitted for me, is right there where the widest part of the shoe is. Well, that's where the ball of my foot is. So we want to make sure that the widest part of the foot is in the widest part of the shoe. So those are the elements of a good shoe. We do want cushioning in the midsole so that when we're running or we're walking, we do get some cushioning there. And we do want to make sure that we have the proper support in the shoe. That's one of my orthotics that I wear, for myself. Same thing goes with a casual shoe. For those of you who wear a lot of casual shoes, if you have more flat feet, I recommend more of a lace-up style shoe. For those of you who have normal feet, in terms of the arch or a high arch, normal feet are fine. High arches I do not recommend as much of a loafer type. But again, can't twist and turn it, and it's going to give your foot great comfort. The final comment I want to make is, when do I need a new pair of shoes? Okay, great question, and there are some misconceptions. On the bottom of the shoe, you'll see that this shoe is actually starting to wear out a little bit, the tread on the bottom of the shoe. I've actually been trying to get out and get some running and walking in. It is not necessarily the telltale of a new shoe, because you might not see a lot of wearing here. Two things, and also people will many times say, well, Rob, the outside part of my heel seems to be wearing out. I don't think I'm walking correctly. And I say, no, you're walking perfectly. Because when the foot hits, it does hit on the outside part of the shoe first and goes through kind of its cycle. So what you do want to look for, and it's very hard to see here, I'm about due for a new pair, is as you start to see creasing here, that means that the foam that you're walking on every day, it's an open-celled foam, meaning there's little holes in the little microscopic holes in the foam. It's starting to compress, which will cause a creasing, usually in the rear to midfoot. That's probably when it's time to start considering getting new shoes, if it's in the budget. Once you start to see significant creasing, then it is definitely time to get new shoes. And any money you've invested in orthotics and the shoe will be going to waste. So anyway, that's the story of shoes. And again, it's my passion. I am more than happy to talk to you about it. And feel free to call me. Again, there will be a phone number at the end of the video, and an email address, and our website, and you can learn all about this. So thanks again, and we'll talk in our next episode.